Hello everyone, if you'd like to see my Tustin dress and a denim suit, stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. Welcome to all my subscribers and welcome to anybody who is new. Now first I better tell you what I'm wearing, which is the Lenny dress by Seamwork. I think it used to have a different name originally when I made them. So I've got a black one as well, but this is not black. This is like a very dark forest green in a really beautiful ponte, and I made it years ago, and I got the fabric from the Dahlia Sewciety, because I do have a black one as well, but the black one has gone just a tiny bit pilly because the fabric just wasn't as good a quality. You can actually feel the thickness of the fabric, the difference in the two of them. So it's sunny today, but it's still pretty chilly, so I'm wearing the Lenny dress. Very comfortable dress. Usually wear it with a belt, sometimes don't, and with boots because I've got cold feet. So what have I made this week? I have made the Tustin dress by Itch to Stitch. Now this is a jersey dress. So the Tustin dress actually has a self-tying belt that's built in. So it's actually a very odd looking pattern piece when you go to cut it out, and the front is cut as a whole single piece, so on the single rather than on the double. So that's what the pattern piece for the front looks like. That's the back and that's the sleeve, and the back is cut on the fold. So it's a really nice pattern, and although that makes it look quite complex, it's actually very easy to sew up. And based on body measurements, I made the size 8 full bust. I'm very happy with the fit. And the fabric I used is a Lady McElroy viscose crepe jersey from the Dahlia Sewciety, and that came in the Vintage Romance box. And this is the dress here, and I have finished it all with the cover stitch. So you can see there's a cover stitch, so it looks like twin needling. I just always only do a 2 needle cover stitch. So there's the seam, and it's got a cover stitch either side of that seam where the neckband is, and that's what it looks like on the other side. This fabric surprisingly was really easy to sew, and how I got the neckband to work properly was I cut out the piece, and it's not on the bias, it's on the stretch. So this is very stretchy fabric, very stretchy. I cut out the neckband piece, I stitched it on with Mariflex thread, right sides together on the front, flipped it around to the back and popped it under the cover stitch machine. I didn't need to tack it down. I just used the little clips, and it worked really, really well. Really, really pleased with it. So there's the front ties, and I will pop in photos. And there's the other tie that sort of looks like it's coming out of the middle. So it does look quite odd when you haven't got it on, but really pleased with it. I didn't think it was going to be very long, because when I looked at the piece that was a normal looking pattern piece, which was the back, I thought, oh, that doesn't seem very long. And so because Itch to Stitch have all of the finished garment measurements in their instructions, it was really easy to find the back length measurement, and it showed me, so I could measure and see how long it was going to be. It was going to be just to my knee, which was correct. As usual, itch to stitch, very comprehensive instructions, really, really good instructions, which makes it really easy to make a dress that you've never made before and has got odd looking pieces. And the pattern goes from a 00 to a size 40. So you really couldn't get a more comprehensive size range than this size range here, which is in a regular, so not a full bust, but a regular bust. It goes from 31 1/8 inches, which is 79 centimeters, up to a 60-inch or 152.5 centimeters. And the only place it has any tiny bit of negative ease is in the bust. The rest does not have negative ease in it. And by negative ease, I mean in a stretch garment, your finished garment measurements are often smaller than your body measurements. But because this has the belt that wraps around, the only negative ease is a slight bit of negative ease, and it's a very small amount in the bust. Really happy with the sizing in it. And that was a size 8 full bust that I did. And the reason I did that was because the full bust body measurement for a size 8 is 104 bust, and mine is 100. The waist was 82 and mine is 79 or 80. And the hips are 101.5 and mine are 100 or 99. So I didn't want to go down to a 6 because it was going to make it too tight. And if I went up to the next size up, which would have been the 10, it was seriously going to be too big in the waist, and that tie belt would not have had the same effect as it does if it's going to wrap too far. So very comprehensive instructions, very comprehensive sizing. So really pleased with the Tustin dress in this gorgeous fabric. It's really very nice fabric. It's got a stretch in both directions. Really, really nice dress. So that was my Tustin dress by Itch to Stitch. And I must say, I really do enjoy an Itch to Stitch pattern because of how comprehensive their instructions are. You never think, what? I've got no idea what you're even talking about, which step you're even up to. And after that, I made my Frocktails dress, which I'm not going to show you yet. So I'm not doing the reveal until Frocktails. But let's just say it's quite a puffy dress. And I've just finished putting the horsehair braid into the hem and finished a little handbag, which I did not do one of the metal clasps for. I just made a handbag. Put it that way. So the next thing I made was, I thought I'm going to use this beautiful Cousette denim that I've got, that I bought from the Dahlia Sewciety, and I bought it in 2 separate pieces. I bought this piece months before I bought the next piece, always knowing I was going to make the Grenadine skirt. So there's the threads all over it. This is the Grenadine skirt by Maison Fauve. Now, this is a free pattern, and it's still a free pattern. I just went and checked on the website. Invisible zip up the back. Really happy with the skirt. I think I've made 3 plain skirts and 1 skirt with this cutout piece that I did put piping in. I didn't want to put piping in at this time, But what I did do was I made a facing for the hem. I didn't want it to be really bulky, and I didn't want to double turn it. It makes the skirt too short. Skirt's actually an okay length for me, provided I'm not using hems like this. So we don't want to waste an inch on a hem. I'd rather have it on the length. So just using the bottom part of the pattern, I made facings, put them on the bottom. So I think it adds a nice bit of weight to a denim skirt too. I do like the heavier hems on linen pants as well. And to go with the Grenadine skirt, I made the Harriet Woven Jacket. So this is the second piece of denim that I bought. So they're both the Cousette Navy blue denim, and Kristen still has some of that available because this Cousette denim is just gorgeous. It's so soft and really, really feels like luxury. So this is the Harriet jacket, and I'll pop photos in. And I did a navy and white spot lining, and that's just lining that I had in my stash. I think I got the lining from Homecraft Textiles, and it'll just be like a poly satin, which actually makes it quite warm. And the instructions for this might as well not exist. You might as well wing it, except that when you go onto the Style Arc website, they've got a sew-along video that tells you all the things you need to be doing, because these instructions, as they're a written instruction, the only thing it told you how to do properly was the collar. And I do like this jacket. It's got an undercollar and when to sew the facings on. That's the only thing it's telling you properly. And by an undercollar, I mean it's a slightly different shaped collar with a seam up the back, and you can see that that part's on the bias. See how you can see that the lines are running in this direction? Whereas the top collar is running in a normal direction. It's cut with the grain. So if you're going to make the Harriet, my first suggestion is go and watch that video. It'd actually even make a really nice unlined jacket too. But the hemming of the sleeves and everything works out really well if you watch that video. I already knew how to line a jacket, but it's got no structure inside it. The only interfacing it's got is the collar and the facings. And then I found these buttons in my stash, and it's only supposed to have 3 buttons, but I sort of feel like there's something missing on the buttons. Like if I had, so this first button was placed so that it comes across the widest part of your bust, so that you don't want to have buttons here and none across the fullest part of your bust, because that's how good shirts and tops gape and jackets gape. So that's the first one I put in. I would prefer them to have been like this far apart, and this one here and a bit freer at the bottom, but I do have to space them even. When you've only got 3 big buttons, they need to be spaced really evenly. So I probably won't wear it buttoned up very much, not unless it got really cold, but really pleased with it. It's a nice pattern, and it's got things like darts in the sleeves. So you can see it's got darts in the bust and darts in the sleeve. Now even the lining has got a dart in the sleeve. You get separate pattern pieces for all the lining. You get a separate back, separate front, and separate sleeve. So when you're looking at a lining, you only need the sleeve, the back, and the front. So All of those are separate pattern pieces, and they are slightly different than the actual pattern piece, because I laid them on top of each other and to see if it was different. And you pull your lining, or you pull your jacket after you've lined it out through a space you've left in your sleeve, and then I just slip stitch that shut. So all in all, took a couple of hours to make, but really happy with the result. I think it's a really nice jacket, and I should get a fair bit of wear out of it. And in the photo, I've just got it on with a ready-to-wear black sleeveless top. So the Harriet goes from an Australian size 4 to an Australian size 36, which is a US size 0 to a US size 32. European 32 to 64. So a really big size range again, which is great to see. So with Style Arc, they don't give you what your body measurement should be. What they give you is the finished garment measurements. And I actually made a size 12, and I think if I made it again, I'd actually make a size 14. Yeah, so a 12 has got a finished measurement in the bust of 105. And if my bust's 100, that's a pretty fitted top. And I didn't do a full bust adjustment or anything on it. And the hips are 110, but that's okay for me because that would be at least 10 centimetres ease. So the waist and the hips are never usually an issue for me because I get narrower the further I go down. So yeah, when you think about it, for a jacket, you probably want more than 5 centimetres of ease in the bust on your finished garment. So in hindsight, I probably would have been better off doing a 14. And so I have written that on my pattern, next time make the 14. So very, very happy with it, and I will wear it. I'm sure I've got plenty of wear out of it. Very pleased indeed with that suit. I think it's going to look really nice. And really happy with how that invisible zip turned out. So, and to be honest, I didn't even pin the zip in. I just held it on there and sewed it. Because this fabric, even though it's denim and it's really soft, it's actually really easy to sew, not very easy to unpick. Not very easy to unpick if you've got really matching thread because it really sinks into the fabric because it's quite cushiony. I think I only had to unpick some tiny bit out of it. Luckily, it was on a piece with the lining because once again, I didn't pin it and I just held it. And then when I got it, I thought, oh, it's practically off the edge of it. I'll have to unpick that. But I couldn't unpick it from the denim side. I could only unpick it from the lining side because I couldn't see it. I know what else I did. I made a tie for my hat for the races. So this is my hat for the races, and remembering the fabric, and I will pop a photo in here of the dress and the bag and the hat on my mannequin. So I had those long pieces before I bought the extra bit of fabric. I had the long pieces that I'd had to make up using short pieces for the wrap tie on the Freddie wrap dress. And then I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the joining of the pieces. I want it to be full length pieces. So I ordered some more fabric, and Mikey sends it straight away for me. So you can see one of the seams there. And so I thought I'm just going to, so rather than getting rid of those scrap pieces that I had that I'd already joined up everywhere and made into the ties, I thought, oh, I'm just going to use that for the hat. I'm not much of a hat wearer. probably wouldn't wear glasses, wear sunglasses. Who knows how you wear it? I don't even know how you wear hats. All I know is all hats are too big for my pinhead, so... And then what happens to your hair when you take them off? Be okay when I had a shaved head, but then the hat would be even bigger as well. But I've decided not to shave my head anymore. Trying to grow it into a style. But it means you've got to use the hair dryer, hair products. But when you have it buzz cut, just get in the shower, wash it, get out, dry it with a towel, and it's dry. So I'll see how long that lasts. I have grown it at other times, but I think it makes the top part much darker coloured than the rest of it being like so silver. But my sister is bringing me some purple mousse, so we'll see how that goes. It doesn't need toning because I already used purple shampoo. And obviously it used to look much more purple than it does now, because the first time I went to the hairdressers here, the girl went, "I thought you had purple hair." And I went, "No, that's just the shampoo I was using." So I do use purple shampoo, but probably only once a week, and it costs a lot. But this is my hat. Do you wear it like that, like a schoolgirl? Oh, maybe like that. How do you make it stay there? It wouldn't be the first time I've stuffed a hat with tissue paper to make it firmer or sit where I want it to sit, because it needs to sit like there, and it sort of just falls right down to there. So I'll have to look into that. But I have finished my races outfit, which I must go and do the waterproofing spray on my suede shoes. Supposed to be good weather, but who knows, might be muddy and wet and raining or boiling hot. No one knows, nobody can tell. But at least I've got everything done. So I've got Frocktails all done, racing outfit all done. I've got alterations to do. In fact, I think I've got like about 14 things there to alter. And then I might have to start to think about the Christmas sewing. And I have got this very nice Christmas fabric, which was a Pascal Dilga Christmas Peony Light. And it was from Nerida Hansen, and I've only got 2 meters. I ordered 3 meters, but this is what I got. So I'm just shutting up about it and going to make a Christmas dress in this beautiful fabric. And I was thinking the Rosalie from Maison Fauve. I really would like to make a wearable toile before I use this fabric, because I won't be able to get this fabric again. It's 145 wide and I've got 2 meters. And it looks like I'd need to make size 44. And for the dress, it says I need 2.7. So if I make a wearable toile, I'll be able to see if it's the right size, what the length's like. If there's anywhere I can sort it out differently. Now I think, and this fabric is directional as well. Might be an issue, mightn't it? You can see it's got Merry Christmas written on it. What else has it got on it? Joyous Noel. And that all runs in the same direction, which means it's directional fabric. And from memory, Maison Fauve are pretty spot on with the fabric quantities. And so it does give you a size chart, and it does give you a finished measurement, but the finished measurement is a flat measurement. So it says if you lie it on the table and measure it, this is what it's going to measure. But it also gives you a waist height, which is something I always like. So sometimes do need to I don't need to shorten the bust height, but I sometimes need to shorten the waist height because my bust and waist are closer together than the pattern allows for. And if you don't do that, then it can often be a little bit tighter on your hips because it's where your waist is supposed to be. It's certainly the right type of fabric. What did it say it was? Lensing, tencel and linen. Yeah, exactly the right fabric for the dress. It looks like it cut out 4 of the fronts on the fold. It looks like the front pieces are self-lined, which means I could do a big saving on the fabric by cutting out lining fabric that actually went into it. So if I got a red or a dark pink lining fabric, even like this color red, lining fabric, and put that inside the top. Yes, it definitely has a lined front bodice. So that could save me a fair bit of fabric. And it looks like this shoulder, so the top shoulder is not right on your shoulder, it actually extends over to the front of your shoulder a little bit. So that back piece is going to be quite a big piece. That's not lined. Might be nice to line the whole bodice, mightn't it? I'll have to see what lining fabric I've got. And you also cut 8 of the tie pieces. So, and they've got it running from selvage to selvage. But there's no reason why in a proper cotton that you cannot run it vertically along the selvage as well. That's going to save you fabric. Could also make one of the underneath parts of the ties, which you would see when you tied it up, could also make one of those sides in a plain fabric. Anyway, I will make a toile in the Rosalie to make sure I'm making the right size and exactly how much fabric did it take. So when I make a toile, it will be a wearable toile. I will also line the bodice with a different lining. That's a big lot of fashion fabric to lose to make these 2 bodice pieces, left and right front, to make them twice, which is basically what you're doing. Unless you've got heaps and heaps of the fabric, I wouldn't be doing that. So I will eventually start that and let you know how I go, because before you know it, it's going to be Christmas. So that's all from me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you're making. Have you started your Christmas sewing already? Oh, of course, when you're on the other side of the world, you're probably making coats. I did sort out my coat fabric and I've got enough for the next 3 winters. So I've got some very nice fur there that I'd like to make a jacket. And then I saw someone came out with a new fur jacket pattern. So I'll have to check that out before I make that fur jacket up. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon. Everybody have a great sewing week. Bye.